Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be taking you through a beginner's Vinyasa yoga flow. If you need any props for this practice, yoga blocks are always great to add on, and you can also grab any blankets or cushions if you feel as though you'll need those for support throughout your practice. If you don't have any specific yoga props, things around the house can help you out. So that could be just your normal cushions from your sofa, obviously blankets, and then if you don't have any blocks at home, then you can grab big chunky books, anything that's quite like that brick formation. Go ahead and grab any of those that you feel like you'll need for the practice. Grab your mat, grab some water, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we're going to get started lying down on your backs for this practice. Taking a bend into the knees, the arms can fall alongside the body, or they can rest onto the heart and onto the belly, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And the choice is yours. You can either bring the feet out nice and wide and let the knees drop in toward one another, or you can take the feet about hip width distance apart and just let the knees point towards the ceiling. Just allowing the back of the head and the shoulders to rest down. The vertebrae to melt towards the mat. Allow yourself to slow down the breathing. Noticing the inhale through the nose and the exhale out the mouth. Checking in with you and how you are feeling physically, emotionally, energetically today. And there is no right or wrong way, we are just simply observing. Just taking this as an opportunity to arrive on your yoga mat, to become present with you. As we start to check in, we can acknowledge any tenderness that's held within the body, any sticky, stuck feelings or sensations that are moving through us. And with this moment to check in, we have the opportunity to set an intention to either counteract that or boost the energy that we have. So if we're sitting with something that doesn't quite feel right, something you want to create a shift out of, then that could be your intention. And your intention could be a goal, it could be a phrase, it could be just one word. But whatever it is, take 3 cycles of breath to breathe it into you. As if it already becomes part of your energy, becomes part of you. And you're breathing it into the body, letting go of anything that does not serve you as you exhale and sigh out. Breathing in deeply, exhaling out fully. And once you've taken that final cycle of breath, you can start to hug the right knee into the chest, wrapping the fingertips around the shin. Slowly start to roll out through the right ankle, flex and point through the foot, working through the toes, working through the ankle joint. And then our first pose is going to be working into the hip space. So start to cultivate some circles with the knee, as if you've got a big chalk, a big crayon, and you're drawing the biggest circles possible with your knee. Going in both directions. Then hug the knee into the chest. Flex the toes, point the foot towards the ceiling, or point the toes towards the ceiling. We cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh and allow the right knee to open out to the side. A couple of options you can take here. If this is enough, stay as you are. If you want a little bit more, your right palm can come to the right thigh bone, pressing the leg away. You can also loop the hands through the legs and take a hold of the back of your left thigh. Drawing the ankle, that right ankle, closer in towards the body, tapping deeper into the glute, deeper into the sensation along the outer side of your hip. And tap back into the breath here. We work through 3 cycles. Once you have exhaled out for that final time, you can start to release the back of your left thigh. Allow the knee and the foot to drop over towards the left-hand side of your yoga mat and open the arms out nice and wide to a T shape. Open and expand through the chest and breathe out, let the shoulders heavy into the yoga mat. Breathe into the belly space. Exhale, let it go. Use your next inhale to draw the knees to center. Exhale, take them over to the opposite side. So keeping that right ankle hooked over the left knee, we drop the knees over towards the right hand side of the mat. Switch the gaze over towards the left palm. Then slowly start to guide the knees to come to center. Unravel your right ankle and plant the sole of the foot down. We take all of that over to the left. So start to hug the left knee into the chest, wrap the fingertips around the shin. Roll out through the ankle, flex and point through your foot. Working through the toes, the ankle joints. And then start to flex the foot, pointing the toes towards the ceiling. Oh, actually, I missed out the hip circles. I take those hip circles first. Big crayon. An important part, oiling up the joints before we work into the stretch. So definitely take that. Even yoga teachers forget sometimes, guys. Beautiful. Then from here, knee towards the chest. Now we flex the foot, pointing the toes towards the ceiling, crossing the left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Take your variation of figure 4, whether you wish to push the thigh away or loop the hands through the legs to take a hold of the back of your right thigh. Easing your way into the stretch, utilizing the exhalation to guide you through this pose. The breath out, pressing down into the hip space. Maybe allowing you to guide even deeper, drawing the leg in even closer. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Slowly start to unravel the leg. We first drop the knees over towards the right hand side of the mat, keeping the ankle crossed over. Open the arms out nice and wide, gaze over towards the left hand. Take a deep breath in here. Breathe it out and let it go. Knees return to center. Then we drop them over towards the left-hand side, keeping the left ankle hooked over. Both knees melting downwards towards the mat. We switch the gaze over towards your right palm. And at the bottom of your final exhalation, you can then start to guide the knees back. Uncross your left ankle and plant the sole of the foot down to the yoga mat. We then hug both knees into the chest. Take a hold of the backs of the thighs and start to rock and roll up and down your spine. Lifting yourself up to a seat where we cross the shins. Take the hands to come out in front of you and wiggle your way to come towards the center of the mat. Once you've made your way to the center, we start to work through a couple of cycles of cat and cow. Breathing in to drop the belly, open the heart space, take the gaze forwards. Then as you exhale, round through the spine, curl the tailbone underneath you. Gaze towards the belly button. Breathe in, we open out. Melt the belly down, spread the sitting bones. Then exhale to round yourself through. Keep flowing with this, using the inhale to crack you open. And the exhale, sigh out through the mouth. 3 more like that. Nice fluid motion as you squeeze those shoulder blades. Exhale, let it go. Breathing in for 2. Working through each little vertebrae, slowly waking the body up. Final 1. Really beautiful. Once you've taken that final exhalation, we flatten out through the spine. Come to neutral tabletop position, gaze down towards the mat, pressing evenly between the palms. We start to shift the weight into your left knee and pick the right knee up away from the mat, pointing the toes towards the ceiling. Take some nice big circles here. Draw the knee forwards, open out to the side. If there's any clicks, like me, any clicks or cracks, don't worry, work through it. Breathe into it. Going in both directions. And then pause with the toes pointing upwards towards the ceiling. Breathe in. As you breathe out, draw your right knee towards the right elbow and step the foot to the outer side of your right palm, right to the top of the mat. Plugging down into your left palm, now you can take a block or your book or any props that you've got underneath your left palm if you need it. We start to release the right fingertips to lift up and overhead, reaching for the back of the mat. Then as we exhale, big rainbow back above the head, tapping the fingertips towards the top of the mat, allow the head to bow down. We work through 2 more of those, flossing through the shoulder as we open out nice and wide, reaching for the back. Exhale, tap for the top of the mat, let the head drop. Final 1, breathe in, open and expand. And breathe out, tap the fingertips down to the yoga mat. From there, if you wish for even more, we hold in this lizard lunge. You can drop down onto the forearms and melt your way into this space. Maybe coming to the outer blade of your right foot and letting the knee drop to the side. Now if coming onto the forearms feels like a lot, just stay onto the palms. Hold and stretch here. 2 cycles of breath. After your second cycle, start to plug into the palms. Ground through the right sole of the foot. And just glide the hips back for a moment, straightening out that right leg. Pointing the toes towards the ceiling, working into the hamstrings. Sweet breath in. Sweet breath out. Shift forwards to ground through the right sole of the foot. We tuck the left toes under and lift your left knee. Get light on the foot as we step to the outer side of your left palm, right to the top of the mat. We open out the feet, toes point to the side, take a nice deep bend into the knees, sinking right down to your yoga mat, coming into yogi squat. Now from yogi squat, you can take the hands to come to prayer. Elbows help to open out the knees. Take a little sway from left to right if you wish to ease your way into this position. Now this can look different for everybody in your yogi squat. You might have the heels lifted, you might be up here in a yogi squat. Just whatever you can come to, find a position that feels right for you in your hips. And then we just find 1 inhalation. As you exhale, start to hinge from the hips, turn the toes to point parallel, so point towards the top of the mat, coming to a forward fold. We work through 2 more of those. So breathing in, it sinks you down, coming into yogi squat. Hands to heart, breathing out, melt over the thighs, hinging from the hips. Final 1, breathe in to drop down. And breathe out, take that fold. Hips rise, let the head drop, shifting the weight into the toes. Then slowly you can start to heel toe the feet to come together to touch. Soften through the knees, roll up to standing, work through each little vertebrae as you climb your way to standing. Arms rise above the head with that big breath in, lengthening through each vertebrae, lengthening through the sides of the body. Exhale, hands drop to the heart in prayer. Take another inhale, we sweep it all the way up. Exhale, dive your way down, forward fold. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in. Breathe out to ripple down into your forward fold. Softening into the knees, we plant into the palms and both feet step to the back of the mat, high plank position. Inhale to hold. As you exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Squeeze the arms into the sides of the body as the chin and the chest drop down. Ripple into a baby cobra as you inhale, using the back muscles to lift you, press into the tops of the feet. And as you exhale, glide your way back to come to child's pose. First one of the practice, hips to heels, head bows down. Just 2 cycles of breath as a reset before we make our way over to the opposite side. Once you've taken that second exhalation, up onto the hands and the knees with an inhale. Starting to press evenly between the palms, lift left knee away from the mat. Take those nice big circles, opening wide out to the side, pressing away. And once again, going in both directions, really flossing out the hips, really working through this motion. Pause with an inhale, pointing the toes towards the ceiling. Realign through the spine. As you exhale, draw your left knee to the left elbow and then step the foot to the outer side of left palm. You can use your hand to guide the foot up as well. Grounding through the right palm, take a block underneath it if you need. Left fingertips sweep above the head as we lift up and back. As we exhale, sweep the fingertips back over the head, tap to the top of the mat, the forehead bows down. 2 more like that, breathe in to lift. Breathe out to fold. Final one in. And final one out. We drop down either onto the forearms or plug into the palms, holding this lizard lunge. If you wish to come to the outer blade of your left foot, then please feel free. Take a breath in through the nose and a breath out through the mouth. Start to press into the palms, lifting your way up. Grounding through the left sole of the foot, we tuck the right toes under. Lift the right knee, step to the outer side of your right palm, nice and wide. Turn the toes out, heels draw in, nice deep bend into the knees as the hands settle in front of the heart, yogi squat. Back into that same flow. Inhale, we pull the heart towards the thumbs, lift up nice and tall through the crown of the head. Keep the space in the spine as we then hinge from the hips and straighten it out. Working through 2 more of those. Breathe in, we sink low. Puff up the chest. Breathe out, take the fold. Final one in. And out, let it go. Start to heel toe the feet to come together to touch. Soften through the knees, roll up to standing, work through each little vertebrae. Arms above the head with your big inhale. Exhale, hands drop to heart in prayer. Sweep it up once more, inhale. Exhale, drop your way down, forward fold. Halfway lift, like an L with your body, shooting the crown of the head forwards and the tail back. As you exhale, fold deeper into the forward fold. Softening into the knees, press into the palms, both feet step back, high plank position. Now you can either lower knees, chest, chin as we did before, or if you want to lower all the way down as the belly from here, squeeze the arms into the sides, Allow yourself to melt towards the mat, untuck the toes. Slowly ripple your way up into a cobra, rolling the shoulders back. Little bend into the elbows, but this time we press into the palms. Glide your way to come into a child's pose. Hips lead the way, forehead bows to the mat. And invite in some deeper cycles of breath as we wind back down. Taking that soft and gentle flow in through the nose and out through the mouth. Heavying yourself down into the yoga mat, into the earth. And with your next inhalation, we'll start to walk the hands in toward the body, lifting yourself up to a seat on the heels. And then once you've reached that position, just drop the hips to one side and swing the legs to come round in front of you. Shuffle up towards the top of the mat and bring a bend into the knees. The soles of the feet come together here and we open the legs out nice and wide, making your way into a butterfly shape with the legs. We then lower back down onto the yoga mat, using your forearms, using the palms to help guide you down, and then the knees naturally start to open. You can bring your left hand to heart, your right palm to the belly. Close the practice with 3 deep cycles of breath. If you wish to stay here for a little longer, please feel free to. Closing down the eyes and holding this deep focus on the inhales and the exhales. I thank you so much for joining me today. From my heart to yours, namaste.